All right, let's talk more about this. More on the expectations around the House Republicans' budget proposal. We're joined by Republican Congressman Scott Garrett of New Jersey, Democratic Congressman Peter Welch of Vermont. Congressman Welch, I'm going to start with you first, sir. Already everyone's saying this is going nowhere fast. Paul Ryan saying he wants to repeal Obamacare. Republicans have tried this somewhere over 35 times to repeal it. Is this going to go anywhere?
No, and I hope he knows that. It's really a dead end. This was a decision of the election. So doubling down on another 35 times of repealing Obamacare just gets us going nowhere. I mean, bottom line, there's an opportunity here if the Republicans acknowledge that President Obama won. The common goal is to try to get sustainable spending, and there's ways to do it. One, clean up a totally outrageous tax code, $1.2 trillion in spending in the form of giveaways, oftentimes to special interest, and we ought to eliminate that or rein it in. And then secondly, there's things we can do to reform health care, like have prescription drug price negotiation that would save Medicare and taxpayers $160 billion, which would be a substantial savings, and that's through just having price negotiation like we have in the VA and like we have in Medicaid and like a lot of companies have when they have an employee-based plan.
Representative Garrett, I have to say, this is the most middle ground I've heard from a Democrat in a really long time. How come we can't come to the table? Because from my understanding, Patty Murray's going to release her budget on Wednesday, increase taxes on the wealthy yet again, and of course, no entitlement talk whatsoever.
So, yes, in Washington with politicians, it's always easy to criticize, and it's hard to actually come to the table with an actual plan. And that's for that reason we haven't seen anything from the Senate Democrats in over 4 years. We haven't seen anything from the president since he's been in office that actually passes with his fellow Democrats. So it would be great if they actually finally put something on the table. I wonder whether it's because we passed the no budget, no pay bill that they realize if they don't do something, they don't get paid over there. But if they come to the table, then maybe we can begin to go to find that common ground. But I can tell you this. We are already receiving revenue in this country at higher levels than basically any time in history. We are seeing tax rates near their top ever. And so to say that we need to put an added extra burden on the economy of higher taxes on this economy, I'm not quite sure that's the direction to go in.
Many will agree with Representative Garrett on that, Congressman Welch, because we all feel like our paychecks are cut in half based on what's happening lately. But I think we all agree that there needs to be tax reform. I think we could all agree that this could be a huge revenue creator and saver, spending saver at the end of the day. How do you do that and come to the middle?
Well, first of all, the issue of tax rates is off the table now. I mean, the rates went up on folks over $400,000, and the Bush era tax rates are now permanent. But Patty Murray's going to propose more increases again on Wednesday, so changing taxes is not off the table, clearly. Yeah, I actually don't know what's going to be in her budget, but I think the president, I don't think the president is talking about new higher taxes. I think what he's been clearly talking about is cleaning up the tax code, where I think there's widespread acknowledgement that it's just it's a disaster. It's anti-growth, and it's oftentimes doing bad economic consequences. So the debate with us will be whether we take some of those revenues and invest in education and infrastructure, which is something I would strongly support. We have to have a growth component to our budget discussions.
I want to give you the last word here because we're running out of time, but we are hearing more and more corporations parking money overseas. The payroll tax cut is hurting people at home. How do you fix this?
So one thing, of course, in Ryan's budget does is that we'll be voting out this week is to make us go to more territorial tax systems so that we can get those companies that are overseas now, U.S. companies, not to be taxed twice and allow them to bring their money back to this country without a penalty. That will go a long way to fixing our tax code. And on the second point on tax reform, it means that a tax reform is only reform if you don't take that money from one pocket and take it to another pocket. In other words, tax it in another way.
Right. Wow.
Thank you.
I think you guys had a little kumbaya moment. Congressman Garrett, Congressman Welch, and Congressman Garrett, of course, is my representative at home in New Jersey. Thank you both for being with us.
Good to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Very genial.